Hi there, James Rowe here, presenter of the Which Cars podcast. Join me and the Which Cars team as we cover the biggest motoring stories, including our exclusive research into car reliability.
When 5 to 9 year old cars break down, they spend on average 4 days off the road. New to 4 year old cars spend 4.8 days off the road. Now that might not seem like much in the general scheme of things, but that's a 20% difference. And that could be the difference, for example, if you break down on a Monday afternoon between getting your car back for the weekend or having to wait into the next week to having it repaired.
Should you buy a used car rather than a new one?
Unless you're desperate to get a car in exactly the colour or specification you want, there are plenty of low mileage used cars on the market with significant discounts on their new price. And if they're from a brand, say like Toyota or MG, which offer long warranties, then it can actually be quite a good option buying used because you'll still have that manufacturer cover behind you.
And why are car headlights so bright nowadays?
Car manufacturers want to make life easier for the driver, so they add these LED or laser headlights that illuminate the road ahead like never before, which is great if you're driving a car. Not so great if you're on the receiving end coming the other way.
To listen to the full podcast, head to which.co.uk/cars podcast. You have to be a Which member to listen, but you can get a membership for 50% off the usual price. All the details are on that page, which.co.uk/cars podcast. Hello and welcome to the Which Shorts podcast. I'm James Rowe. Each week on the podcast, we delve inside one of the Which magazines, choose a piece that was written by one of our brilliant journalists and bring it to life, giving you loads of free, everyday advice. This week, we're focusing on artificial intelligence and asking the question, do you really need it right now? In the February and March edition of Which Tech magazine, our expert Ian Evenden investigated whether the AI tools of today are genuinely useful or simply aren't worth bothering with. Here's Ian's piece adapted for the podcast, this week read by Tech magazine editor Lisa Barber.
These days, it seems like everywhere you look, AI is the main selling point of a product or service. Whether you're buying a smartphone, a computer, or even a washing machine, artificial intelligence is being packed into the product, promising to make it even better. We've been hearing about the rise of AI ever since ChatGPT burst into the public consciousness back in 2022. Since then, we've seen a plethora of alternatives from tech giants including Microsoft, Google, Apple and Samsung, and each variant offers its own array of capabilities. Everything from generating artwork and super realistic images to answering your questions and brainstorming ideas to even writing computer code. In fact, it's doing the latter so well, Google's CEO reported in late 2024 that over 25% of the company's new code is AI generated. Some tools are also designed to speed up our workflows, summarising emails and documents and proofreading our work. But how exactly does it work? Well, these kinds of generative AI systems simply present a different way of doing things that computers have been good at for a while, executing algorithms. They're based on something called a neural network, which carries out its instructions in a way more like a biological brain than traditional computer processors. It makes use of massive parallel processing and probability, plus training data to tell it what things are often associated with one another and how they're connected, in a similar way to predictive text messages, which we first used back when mobile phones had keypads. So, what options are out there and are they worth using? Well, let's break it down into the main AI tools being offered by the big tech giants. Starting with Microsoft Copilot. This is probably best described as an AI assistant that's baked into the latest Windows laptops and computers. Microsoft thinks it's such a big feature, there's even a dedicated Copilot key on new Windows laptops. The basic Copilot system can run on any PC capable of running the right version of Windows 11, but for all the tricks you need a Copilot Plus machine. Among the features coming to these machines is Recall, which saves snapshots of your computer activity and searches them with AI so you can return to something you were doing days ago just by searching for it. Windows also uses AI to adjust the lighting in video calls and can make it look like your eyes are looking into the camera when you're not. It can auto-generate subtitles for videos, translate audio and bring image generation to Microsoft Paint. So, do you need it? Well, if you're after a new high-performance Windows laptop, look out for it. Next, Google Gemini, a slightly more accessible chatbot that also offers some assistant-esque features. Gemini is now included with Chromebooks as a web app, as well as being available on the web and on Android. The AI chatbot comes with a text input field that you can use to prompt AI for a response, but you can also talk to it. It can quickly summarise emails and documents in your Google Drive if you ask it a question about them, as well as the usual image and text generation, and the magic editor in Google Photos lets you select an object within an image and remove, replace or resize it. There's also an AI-powered Add Me feature in the Android camera app, which is particularly good. It's able to merge two pictures taken in the same place, so the photographer can appear in the same image as their subjects. But do you need it? It's useful if you have an Android device, use a lot of Google software, or if you want to pretend you're in a photo that you're not. Now, Apple Intelligence. Apple makes a big deal about the privacy inherent in its system. Most of the processing is done on your own device, and when it does need to use the cloud for more complex requests, it uses private servers running its own M-series processors and with end-to-end encryption so that any data it sends can't be intercepted. Apple claims its AI can match the performance of OpenAI's GPT-4, and it integrates all the familiar AI tricks, such as summarising emails and generating images from text prompts or drawings, as well as becoming the new brains behind Siri. But do you need it? Well, only if you juggle lots of messages and appointments and like creating images, or if you want to boast about Apple's focus on privacy to Microsoft using friends. So what about Samsung's Galaxy AI? Despite running on Android, Samsung has come up with its own AI chatbot. Galaxy AI is available on Galaxy S and Z phones, as well as the Tab S tablets, but it's not supported on budget phones like the A35 and A55. Features include tools to improve note-taking using the S Pen stylus, making suggestions for replies and translations in text chats, AI-generated wallpapers, and generative photo editing. When we tested generative photo editing on a Galaxy S24, we found it very easy to use. Moving objects or deleting them was a piece of cake. However, you can't unselect parts of the object if the phone gets it wrong, so you have to start all over again. It's worth knowing too that your phone will need a network connection, so you can't quickly edit images on the hoof if you haven't got a signal. So, do you need it? As some Samsung tablets and phones score well in our tests, Galaxy AI may tip your decision in the brand's favour if you need a new Android device. But if you want to dip your toe in the world of AI chatbots and assistants, there are free versions available that don't require you spending hundreds on a new device or signing up for a subscription. Windows Copilot is included with just about every Windows 11 PC you can buy right now and will come as a free update to lots more. Using the free version, you can ask for answers to questions or generate images and can even talk to it if you've got voice input switched on. Google Gemini is free too, in both online and app format. You'll need an internet connection to interact with Gemini, which can accept input from your voice as well as through text prompts, and it'll speak back to you too. Plus, if you've got a more recent Google Pixel phone that runs Android 15, you'll find that Gemini is threaded through the OS in the same way Apple Intelligence is in an iPhone. Apple Siri is getting a ChatGPT update that hopes to improve the fluency and usefulness of its responses when you speak to it. It's not exactly free, as the price of admission is buying a recent Apple product, which aren't cheap. But if you're the sort of person to always have a recent iPhone in your pocket, it's a nice bonus feature that would no doubt trickle down to the budget models in a few years. And accessing OpenAI's chatbot is as simple as searching for it and either using the web interface or installing the smartphone app. ChatGPT benefits from a well-known name in the AI market, and you can use it for free without needing to log in, although you'll miss out on a few features, such as being able to save your chats. Plus, your interactions will be used to train the model to help fine-tune its capabilities, something that you can still disable in the settings. With all that being said, there is a brand new player in the AI game. It's called DeepSeek, and it was created by a Chinese startup which claimed it cost a fraction of the cost of ChatGPT to set it up. It's still very new to the scene, so it's still up for debate at how useful it can be, or if it can really take on the big tech giants at their own game.
This week, Lisa Barber was reading that piece, originally written by Ian Evenden and published in the February and March edition of Which Tech magazine. To read it in full, then be sure to become a member of Which Tech. There's a link in the show notes for you to find out more. We'll be back again next week for another episode of Which Shorts, but don't forget that you can also listen to the Which Money podcast every week, where we give you a dose of personal finance news every Friday. Just search for Which Money wherever you're listening. Which Short was produced by John Weeks, produced and edited by me, James Rowe, while the exec producer was Samara McCarrath.
Saving for retirement can feel daunting. The same goes for managing your money once you've stopped working. That's why we've created an 8-week newsletter series breaking down what you need to consider, both pre and post-retirement, into bite-sized chunks. If you sign up to our free retirement newsletters, for 8 weeks we'll send you an email full of expert guidance to help you take control of your retirement planning and give you the confidence to make smart decisions. We'll help you get to grips with your pension, teach you how to boost your income, and explain more about care options. It doesn't matter when you sign up either. Your 8 weeks of advice will start whenever you sign up. So what are you waiting for? Head to which.co.uk/retirement newsletters, all one word, to get up to speed on everything you need to know for retirement.